It is 8 o'clock on a Friday night inside an empty office. The overhead fluorescent lights are buzzing relentlessly, and your coffee went freezing cold 3 hours ago. You are completely alone again. You're staring at a massive spreadsheet that isn't even yours. You are doing this exhausting task because someone in management told you the company operates exactly like a real, deeply connected family. Before we go any further into this harsh reality, hit subscribe and leave a mark under this video. Think of it as signing a binding contract with yourself to stop being the corporate stepping stone. They handed you a slice of cheap, greasy pizza and quietly stole your entire weekend. And the most painful part of this transactional nightmare? You smiled, nodded, and insisted it was absolutely no problem. You are the ultimate team player, the reliable one, the corporate martyr. And this toxic identity is slowly eating you from the inside out, hollowing out your actual personality until nothing genuine remains. Let's strip away the polished corporate jargon right now. There is no family here. A real family does not terminate your membership just because the quarterly financial projections dipped by a tiny margin. Liam learned this brutal truth the hard way. He worked straight through his anniversary dinner just to cover for a senior manager who claimed she was suddenly overwhelmed by her completely normal workload. 3 short months later, massive layoffs came out of nowhere. Liam's blind loyalty bought him a cheap cardboard box for his desk supplies and a generic, freezing cold handshake from human resources. The concept of a work family is nothing but a calculated psychological trick. It aggressively leverages your deep-seated human need for belonging and immediately monetizes your innate desire to feel completely safe and secure. They weaponize your natural empathy against you. When you feel heavily responsible for the group, you stop calculating your unpaid hours. You completely stop asking for the financial compensation you are actually worth. You willingly trade your finite, irreplaceable physical energy for a piece of phantom equity. You invest heavily in an emotional stock that holds absolutely zero tangible value in the brutal, indifferent real world. You are literally paying for their glaring operational inefficiency with pieces of your actual life. Every extra hour you give away freely is a silent theft you are committing against your own future. This brings us to the dark currency you trade in most frequently: guilt. It manifests as a heavy, suffocating physical lump sitting right at the base of your throat during every single meeting. Look closely at Emma's daily routine. Her colleagues practically drop their messy, unfinished projects onto her crowded desk every Thursday afternoon, fully expecting her to clean up their glaring professional mistakes. She accepts the heavy folders, not because she genuinely wants to, but because the cold sweat of letting random people down terrifies her far more than the prospect of total physical exhaustion. They have meticulously trained you to feel incredibly selfish for simply having a rigid spine. Setting a basic boundary now feels like a massive betrayal to the people exploiting your constant, reliable kindness. Every time you swallow a firm refusal to avoid that temporary guilt, you commit profound internal damage. You are turning the sharp pain inward just to keep complete strangers entirely comfortable and complacent. Pause for a second and drop a comment below. Tell me about the last time you swallowed a valid refusal just to keep the peace. Unload that heavy mental baggage right here, right now. That polite silence you offer them on a daily basis, that is the distinct, tragic sound of your own psychological boundaries collapsing into absolute dust while everyone else profits from your quiet compliance. Then there is the pathetic delusion of the silent contract. It is the naive belief that if you just work hard enough, someone powerful will eventually notice your suffering and generously reward your loyalty. David stayed late for 2 grueling years. He optimized the entire back-end system while grinding his teeth into dust. He bit his tongue and waited desperately for a magical moment of professional recognition. The lucrative promotion he practically exhausted himself for went to a mediocre guy who casually played golf with the regional director on weekends. Hard work in the shadows rarely translates into actual leverage. David was utterly crushed by the revelation. He mistakenly thought his quiet suffering was a massive deposit in a cosmic karma bank. Unfortunately, the corporate machine does not operate on spiritual karma or fairness. The entire system operates strictly on leverage and perceived value. If you fail to put a high price tag on your personal time, management will automatically price your daily existence at absolute zero. Nobody is going to hand you a golden crown just for suffering quietly in the fluorescent shadows. They are simply going to hand you significantly more work until your biological toll becomes completely unsustainable. Adopting the identity of a silent martyr is not a viable long-term career strategy. It is a deeply destructive psychological trap designed to extract your maximum effort for the absolute minimum financial return. This insidious behavioral condition does not miraculously stay at the office. It aggressively bleeds into your personal life, infecting the core way you connect with absolutely everyone around you on a daily basis. Sarah dates selfish men who treat her exactly like an unpaid full-time therapist. She meticulously manages their volatile moods, plans the expensive dates, and instantly forgives their constant flaking without a second thought. She genuinely thinks she is being a remarkably supportive partner. In reality, she acts as a human sponge, soaking up their heavy psychological dysfunction until she feels incredibly heavy and entirely hollow inside. The compliant people-pleaser sitting quietly in the corporate boardroom is the exact same desperate people-pleaser sitting in the living room. Your lack of boundaries forms a universal pattern that dictates your entire reality. You inevitably attract exactly what you are willing to tolerate. If you project the soft energy of a willing victim, emotional predators will eagerly line up at your front door to consume your energy. These social predators can practically smell the distinct absence of a single powerful word in your vocabulary. They know perfectly well that you will bend over backward until your spine snaps under the pressure. Worse, they fully intend to sit back and enjoy the comfortable benefits of your relentless bending. Does this sound like an incredibly heavy mirror? If this raw reflection stings your ego, write it down in the comments. Name the specific toxic situation that drains your energy the most today. Why do you repeatedly subject yourself to this? Look closely at your early family dynamics. Ryan grew up constantly managing his parents' explosive, highly volatile arguments inside a deeply unstable childhood home. He was the designated, exhausted peacekeeper. He learned very early that his personal value was tied directly to his immediate usefulness. If he wasn't fixing a massive crisis, he felt entirely invisible and worthless. You are secretly addicted to the fleeting sensation of being urgently needed by others. It is a highly twisted, unhealthy form of emotional validation that temporarily numbs your deep-seated fear of profound abandonment. You falsely convince yourself that holding the heavy sky up for everyone else makes you exceptionally strong. However, your tired arms are violently shaking, and the crushing weight is destroying your physical posture. You are completely terrified of what might happen if you finally put that heavy sky down on the ground. You genuinely believe the people you help will instantly turn and walk completely away. Let those opportunistic people walk away right now. If their continued presence in your life strictly requires your constant, unrewarded suffering, they were merely renting temporary space in your fragile heart anyway. That is the raw core of your issue. You are suffering from an intense fear of the empty void.
you harbor a paralyzing cold anxiety regarding the possibility of becoming entirely obsolete to everyone. Jessica foolishly took on 3 extra management roles during a chaotic corporate merger. She felt like she was actively drowning, desperately gasping for stale air between an endless parade of utterly pointless meetings. She stubbornly refused to delegate any tasks because she deeply believed her extreme indispensability was her only protective shield against being completely erased from the company's rapidly shrinking payroll roster this current financial quarter. The harsh reality is the massive company did not see her as a highly indispensable asset. They simply looked at her frantic output and saw incredibly cheap labor masking itself as pure dedication. When you willingly make yourself far too incredibly useful at the very bottom of the ladder, management has absolutely zero financial incentive to ever pull you up to the prestigious, well-paid top floor.
You essentially become a foundational, structural pillar for their sloppy organization. Management does not promote load-bearing pillars to better positions. They just apply a fresh coat of cheap paint over your tired, cracking surface. Your deep, paralyzing fear of being easily replaced by someone else is the exact psychological mechanism practically guaranteeing your permanent career stagnation and intense daily misery within this highly dysfunctional corporate working environment. Are you currently acting as a load-bearing pillar for a company that does not care about your health? Drop a comment and confess how many unpaid hours you donated to them just last week. Lingering right underneath your polite, forced smiles and those grueling extra weekend hours, there is something foul quietly growing. A dark, heavy, and extremely quiet resentment is taking root inside your tired, aching chest. Ashley wakes up with a painfully sore jaw every single morning. She is violently grinding her teeth in her sleep. That physical tension is unexpressed anger desperately trying to chew its way out. You are not a holy saint descending from the heavens to save the quarterly financial report. You are a tightly sealed pressure cooker sitting on a hot stove, rapidly approaching the point of structural failure. Stop right now. Go straight to the comments and admit what you are actually furiously angry about today. Do not censor your raw thoughts. The real healing starts when you drop the polite corporate act. You deeply resent the average colleagues happily leaving at 5 o'clock while you furiously finish their overdue reports. You deeply resent the smooth-talking boss who effortlessly takes all the credit for your sleepless nights. But looking past all the external corporate villains, who do you harbor the most intense anger toward? The uncomfortable truth is that you fiercely, undeniably resent your own reflection in the bathroom mirror. You absolutely hate the weak part of your personality that politely nods and aggressively types on the keyboard when you actually just want to stand up and scream at the top of your lungs. So, how do we permanently fix this massive internal malfunction? How do you effectively stop playing the tragic role of the exhausted martyr and finally reclaim the heavy reins of your own physical existence? You do not completely lose your natural empathy or become a cold, unfeeling machine. Instead, you force that empathy to rapidly evolve into something significantly sharper, heavily armored, and entirely focused on your self-preservation. You intentionally undergo a psychological transformation and become a true, dark empath. You retain the rare ability to read the subtle emotions of a room, but you absolutely stop letting those emotions dictate your actions. You finally stop eating the miserable scraps they throw at you, and you slowly start growing incredibly sharp fangs. You prepare yourself to firmly bite back the next time they try to cross your boundaries. When a manager hands you extra weekend work and manipulatively says they desperately need a loyal team player right now, you do not flinch. You look them dead in their tired, calculating eyes immediately.
You smoothly reply, stating that you can certainly prioritize this sudden emergency, but you demand to know exactly which of your current mandatory tasks are being permanently dropped to make room for it today. Watch the confident color rapidly drain from their surprised face. Watch them awkwardly scramble to find a logical answer because they are completely unused to a quiet employee suddenly speaking with a dangerous wolf's voice. You confidently start demanding the financial raise you genuinely deserve. You do this not by pathetically begging, but by calmly presenting a cold, irrefutable list detailing the massive, objective value you actively generate every day. If management foolishly refuses to adjust your salary, you do not throw a useless emotional tantrum. You quietly pack up your immense work ethic and methodically take it directly to their biggest industry competitor. You aggressively build thick concrete walls around your personal time. 6 o'clock in the evening means exactly 6 o'clock. The work laptop snaps shut and the corporate cell phone goes entirely dark and wonderfully silent. Let the phantom weight of other people's chronic incompetence finally fall to the hard floor. That heavy burden of manufactured corporate anxiety was quite literally never your personal responsibility to carry in the first place. Desperate people will inevitably call you selfish behind your back. They will complain loudly that you changed for the worse. They will deeply miss the old, compliant, easily manipulable version of you they thoroughly exploited. Let those opportunistic emotional vampires mourn the sudden loss of their favorite free resource. Their bitter disappointment is the ultimate proof that your new psychological boundaries are functioning exactly the way they were brilliantly designed. You are no longer a convenient battery waiting to be drained by a highly dysfunctional system. You have finally opened your eyes, recognizing the sheer, undeniable power resting dormant inside your own tired, overworked hands. You are a formidable force to be reckoned with, stepping boldly out of the buzzing fluorescent shadows, fiercely refusing to break your back for their bottom line, and finally claiming the unapologetic life you absolutely owe yourself.